welcome to In ShawScope with me, Darren Jones, him over
Peter
there.
the Fantastic Squirrel.
Oh, how nice for you. And him down there, no pressure, Nick.
Comfy Strumpet.
Oh,
That's nice.
I feel like I haven't got a name now.
Go on, you can have another run at it. I'm Peter the Fantastic Squirrel. He's
Comfy Strumpet.
and over there is
Littlefoot,
okay.
which is both a film reference to one of the films that we are talking about tonight, and also The Land Without Time reference, which is a film I never really saw, a film series I never really saw, but my sister used to cry about all the time.
Okay, is he like a Sasquatch? Is he like a small Sasquatch?
No, it's a dinosaur film.
Okay,
It's an animated dinosaur film, and one of the dinosaurs dies, and it's really sad.
and his name is Littlefoot.
It's essentially Bambi for the 90s, as far as I can tell.
Okay,
That's I don't really know much else.
Yeah,
about that
I
film
never
series.
saw. I know what you're talking about now that you mention it.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw.
I remember it too, but like I didn't see it. But I remember
Is
it being
it
a video.
Land Without Time, or are you getting the title slightly wrong? Is it something Land something
No,
else?
it wouldn't be. Sorry, it wouldn't be Land Without Time, would it? What would it be? Anyway, I don't know. It's
the animated dinosaur.
The animated
on
dinosaur
a postcard
film.
to in ShawScope, Darren's house, not far away from London, NW3496LZ.
Thank you.
I'll get there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's only 4 digits more than an actual London postcode there.
Oh, it's a clue.
Definitely
It's a cunning clue, is what it is. Well thought out in advance. Yes.
Yes. So anyway, tonight we're going to get a bit.
Sorry, Darren. What's the prize for the person who gets the correct answer and gets it to you first? What?
Well, if you can actually get the letter to my house based on that address, I will give you a signed photograph of me in this amazing Grange Hill themed T-shirt.
I don't think anyone's going to bother, Nick. Does. I mean, what was your fucking name? Well, Littlefoot. There we go.
Yeah. If you get the thing to me, you can have a taste of my Littlefoot.
There we go.
By which I mean penis.
Yes. So, anyway. Darren, what did we watch this time?
So we're getting a bit amorous today, aren't we, gents? Yeah.
Ski.
What we are, yeah. Well, with the second one rather more than the first one.
Yes.
But anyway, we are talking about Amorous Lotus Pan from 1964 and Golden Lotus from 1974, I believe. Is that right, gents? 73, my apologies. Yeah, sorry. Because I was watching
in 9 years, apparently, in terms of what isn't considered permissible in cinema in China.
Yeah.
Well, also it's we'll get to specifically what these things are, because it's kind of, they're the same thing, but they're two distinct riffs on the same thing, which I think I now understand, but we'll get to that.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting because so there's a water margin adjacent novel, right, whose name escapes me because I didn't write it down.
Well, Vase of the Golden Plum or something like that.
But do you want me to go into it? Do you want me to explain it then?
Well, let's do it quickly.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So basically, it's the water margin creeping up on us again, right? And one of the main characters in the water margin is Wu Song, is the tiger killer, right? And one of the little side stories of Wu Song is basically what happens in Amorous Lotus Pan, which is in this version of the story, the thing we're going to talk about happens, and then Wu Song takes revenge for his brother. That's what happens in the water margin version of the story. And I think there's a 1928 play by someone called Ouyang Yukjan. I think that's kind of like the ear text where this version of it was solidified as like a play, right?
Yeah.
And then in the late 1500s, there was this novel, which is considered one of the classics, called Jin Ping Mei, or Golden Lotus, or that thing about the vase, Plum in the Golden Vase, I think. And that's an extension of the character Panjian Lan, but instead of the Wu Song taking vengeance, which we get in the Amorous Lotus Pan version, it's this whole extended more stuff about the character of he's not called Seaman, but it's almost Seaman, him. So basically these two films actually this is almost accidental, really nicely represent the two different versions of the story. So you have the water margin version, and then you have the spun off Golden Lotus version, which I'm currently reading as well, but it's about
well done.
5 billion pages long, so it's an ongoing process. But so that's it's quite interesting to compare these two, because they're not just different, they're not different versions of the same story, they're kind of versions of two different versions of the same story, if you see what I mean.
Well,
does that make sense? Sorry,
yes,
okay.
To make a comparison, right, and this may well go over both your heads actually, but if you're into certain fantasy science fiction genres, right, usually of film rather than books, then there's a whole world of fan fiction, right?
I like your visual representation of world, by the way.
Hang on, I can do it with the other arm as well.
Oh. You're talented, Littlefoot.
I wish I had more knowledge on that Littlefoot character that I could make it, but I could pervert it more than I already have done. But anyway, so if you're, for example, I have a friend who's into Lord of the Rings, right? Both novel and films, right? And they're also into writing fan fiction, right? But they only write a particular kind of fan fiction.
Slash
fiction. Yes, I'm glad someone. Do you know what slash fiction is, Clive?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine, right. I thought
you underestimated us both.
I did. I did. No, I know, because to be fair, you're in different countries, and I don't know how global this thing is. So yes,
it's huge in Japan for one thing. I mean, I almost think Japanese teenage girls, maybe in along with early Star Trek fans, I think were the ones who started this whole thing. Like back in the
variation you get specifically is manga, jidoshi, homemade whole thing, about manga characters and stuff like that. And
okay, fine. Yeah, cool. So anyway, so my comparison is Golden Lotus is water margin / fic.
Quick aside here, Darren, because I'm kind of curious. Your friend who's a big Lord of the Rings fan, what is his or her take on the new series? There's a series, right? I'm not making that up.
TV series.
There's a series.
Is that considered good?
I haven't spoken to them. I haven't spoken to them about that series in particular, so I don't know that answer. I actually watched the series and I actually quite enjoyed it. So if that's for you,
this isn't the upcoming. This is straight up Lord of the Rings again, right? Because isn't there another series?
Oh, you're right. No, yes. So there was the Amazon series, which is like a prequel thing. But yes, there is a new series that's going to just remake the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, is that not the one that just came out?
No, I don't think so. The one that came out was the prequel, like set thousands of years.
Rings of Power.
Is that the one that's already out? So that's like Marginalia and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Pretty much. Yeah.
But more importantly, to me, sorry. What is the slash? Is this Gimli cornholing Legolas? Like what what slash fiction is your friend?
Well, my friend concentrates on dwarves.
Okay, so dwarf on dwarf action.
Yeah, so it's gay dwarf on dwarf action. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah. Hey,
more power to him.
That's a lot of beards intertwining with beards. I'm sure it's very wholesome and erotic.
Yeah. Please, I celebrate this innovation in literature by my friend.
Thorin Oakendick.
But anyway, that was the analogy. The analogy is so you've got the water margin, which is kind of the core text, right? Which is kind of the core story, and then you've got Golden Lotus, which is kind of making it extra sexy and putting extra doilies around the edges, right?
Right.
But they're sexy doilies that go on your fanny.
But
sexy doilies that go on your fanny. Get them in time for next Christmas.
But I was going to say, but it's also worth mentioning that the 1960 whatever version, the first one we watched, is also refracted through the lens of Bros Before Hoes screenwriter.
Well, so who wrote Amorous Lotus Pan?
Yeah.
Fuck me, I would never have guessed it's Chang Che by all the cleavers in the face at the end.
Yes, and the fact that it has a pretty effective final kung fu with slow-mo and undercranking and all kinds of stuff going on that was surprising to me for the time.
Same,
It definitely feels like it's him and his I mean, my understanding is other versions of it are not quite so harsh on her.
No.
And are a bit less, and that Wu Da, particularly our dwarf husband, is not normally this sensitively or sympathetically portrayed.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, also I think we're going to get into cast and crew in a minute. But I think that this is almost the Chow Se-Luk, who's the director, version 1964 is almost like a speed run through Golden Lotus.
Yeah, so 70 minutes for one thing, or thereabouts.
Yeah. But and I don't even think for that reason they just want to get all the points out of the way. I'm not going to say to get to the final 10-15 minute fight at the end, but to almost just blast this out and just kind of overwhelm you with the 100
without having read the water margin yet, I would also hazard a guess that it's probably a pretty straight up faithful reading of the way this side story plays in what, because it is a very small side story in water margin. I think Chang Che's, maybe knowing a little bit about Chang Che's, maybe he just wants to tell. I think because Golden Lotus would have already been around for a long time in literary form, I think they've deliberately sidestepped the Golden Lotus version and said, let's tell the Amorous Lotus Pan story as opposed to the Golden Lotus one, I think. So it's
good point. Good point with the title, actually. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But because I did this slightly the wrong way around, just because I think it was because I had more time one day than another. I ended up watching Golden Lotus first, and then watching the second.
Oh, okay.
Which might be the origin of me saying, well, this is like a speed.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, for sure. But I think, I think you're right. Actually, I think this is the water margin version, and Golden Lotus is the.
That's how I understand it.
Yeah. So anyway,
you saying Chow Se-Luk as well is someone I don't think we've come across yet, right? But directing since the late 40s, seems to have been a cinematographer, production manager before that, and this was one of the last 3 films he directed in the same year. And one of his other credits, which I don't think we were able to get because we certainly would have done it, because he did a Shaw film in 1959, Vengeance of the Vampire. I would quite like to see it, but yeah. I don't know if it's extant or not, but we couldn't get a copy, unfortunately, because I'm sure we would have watched that.
Yeah. But there's lots of names, but there's lots of names in this, isn't there? So obviously you've got Chang Che, screenwriter, Chow Se-luk we've discussed, Diana Chang Chung-wen, who we really liked from Bride Napping.
Oh yes,
from a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah. She was also in Empress Wu and a few other things, I think.
Yeah, but she caught my attention in Bride Napping just because she's, you know, and she didn't make that much. I think there's something like 10 or 12 films in her filmography. It's not a lot.
No.
She's in, really. No. So she's our main character. So she's the sort of Lotus Pan character. Paul Chang-chung playing
Paul Chan-lung.
Wu Song. Oh, is it Lung?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Sorry.
On IMDb, it's Chung, but that doesn't mean anything.
Oh, really?
No. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's Wu Song. I mean, standout. Well, Wong Gam actually, who's a tiny little Ronnie Corbett, Wu Da-lang.
Speaking of not in many things, but he was the Earth God in A Maid from Heaven.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Okay.
And completely different looking as well. Because I completely believed he was an old man in the last film, but in this one he looks in his 40s or something. But yeah, I've got to say, Pak Wan, right? Who I don't think. Sorry.
Seaman. He plays Seaman, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
boy.
Spunk Boy. Yeah. Spunk Boy SquarePants. Anyway.
Are you ready, kids?
See, someone's gonna. But there's something about him, isn't there? There's something like he's been transported from a 1920s silent Peking opera film into the 1960s, where he's still got the same makeup on, and no one else has. No one else has got the same makeup as him.
Well, he's interesting. So I didn't know him at all, but looking at he's been about since like the 30s, and as a director as well. And he directed something which, if we could have got a hold of it, we probably would have got in our. I'm guessing it's a Madame Whitesnake. He directed a 2-part Snake Beauties film in 1954.
Yes. Yeah, I got that. Yeah. But I think he's great. I think he's like slightly effeminate, kind of, you know, snaky kind of baddie, isn't he?
He's a good spunk boy. I'll give him that.
He is a very good spunk boy. Yes.
Lau Ga-lung in it as well, somewhere.
Well, and Tong Kai.
And Lee Kwan.
Yeah, Lee Kwan.
Lee Kwan I saw, but
I can't. Yeah, because Lee Kwan is the plum seller, isn't he? He's the grass, basically, isn't he? Yeah.
So do we remember the plot?
Yeah.
Also, Chan Siu Pang.
Right. Yeah, no, there's a few little, as always with Shaw, right? There's plenty of
You've got the little peripheral. Yeah. But it gets even better with 1974 because you get fucking Jackie Chan in there, didn't you?
Yes.
Anyway, we'll get to that.
I was blown away.
Yes. So anyway, plot.
We should mention a musical. We did forget that.
Oh yes, this one is a kind of a Huang Wei.
The only bit that's because a lot of it is just people singing on the soundtrack, right? But very early on, we get what must be the world's first rapper talking to the Wu Dan character, right? Laying it down in beats and rhymes, isn't he?
That was
the clue was in Wu Dan, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And from there it spread to Staten Island.
Carry on.
Yeah, well, you were going to do the plot.
Story. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing the plot.
Sure.
Yes, fine. Okay. So yeah, so we're introduced to the Tiger Killer, right? So we're introduced to Wu Song, and he comes like in this big sort of parade into town, and there's
he's
like
just killed the tiger. It's just
maybe a real dead tiger, which is a bit I was like, that thing looks like it's, or I mean, hopefully just drugged, but it definitely didn't look like a prop.
No. But yeah, he's basically there's the town is being ravaged by a tiger that we don't see. This is previous to the start of the film. And he goes out there and basically has a fight with his bare hands with a tiger and kills it.
And he might be drunk. He seems like he's surly and kind of drunken and swaggering.
Again, backstory that local audience wouldn't have needed, right? Because Wu Song the Tiger Killer, everyone knows.
Magic, yeah.
Well, so it's in his name.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's basically being paraded in like a victory march through the town. There's lion dances, all sorts of pageantry, he bumped in his sort of parade. He bumps into his brother, who is the cake seller, right? Which is Wood Allen, right? Who's a little short, kind of quite affable character, but kind of a bit hopeless kind of character. Says, "Come and live with me and my wife, because you know you're a hero and I'm your brother. I'm your big brother, and you know." You got to come live with us.
Yeah, move. My note is, "Move in," says Wu Dan, the twat.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
Let the shameless cuckolding begin. Because as soon as beautiful Dinah Chang is introduced to Wu Song, it's like ding 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 ding. The flick in the bell commences almost straight away.
Well, to the point where you've got, I don't think I've seen this before actually, where you've got like a Diana Chang Cheng Wen gazing lovingly, right, at Paul Chang Cheng, and then all of a sudden he's like a god. He becomes a literal god in heaven on like a cloudy heaven, doesn't he?
And let's not forget, while she's doing this, she also sings a song about my husband is pathetic and weak and rubbish.
Yes.
It's like, and you think, Wu Dan, you fool. You do not introduce you're punching above your weight. Don't introduce that to your fucking god-like husband.
Better looker.
Yeah.
Better looking for her, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so she immediately starts coming onto it. So she immediately starts like trying to touch him, trying to do stuff for him, and he is not having any of this.
Yes, he is a good bro, no question about
it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he kind of gets uncomfortable and he buggers off.
And he does give his brother a bit of a heads up. He's like, you might want to spend more time at home.
Yeah.
You might want to keep a better eye on your wife. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, and he gives him like a bunch of cash and says, right, don't go to work for the next 3 months and just stay at home. And he does, and he gets on her nerves.
Yo, she hates it. She's like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Well, she's just seen the promised land, right? So it's the whole, how do you keep the farm boy after he's in Paris or whatever, right? Whatever that's
Yeah. So anyway, then she goes to open a window, right? And then she drops the pole and it hits a man on the street. And then all fucking hell breaks loose.
Yes.
So who she hits is Spunk Boy.
Seaman Ching.
Yes. Zimeng Ching, right?
Yeah.
Who is like very wealthy, like he's like a leader of a militia or something, isn't he? He's like but also like a wealthy playboy kind of character.
Yes, he does have a bit of the same rapey vibe as the dude with the giant ears from one of the ones we watched not that long ago.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, so he kind of joins forces with the woman who runs the tea house next door, and basically engineers
Madame Wang, I believe her name is.
Hung Mei. Hung Mei is the actress.
Hung Mei, yeah. And oh, hang on, I made a note of this. No, I didn't. That I believe is a different film and a different character. Anyway, I have a very interesting note later on another actress who plays the same character in the next film.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, so she basically engineers our Lothario to seduce our dissatisfied or unsatisfied wife.
It's remarkably easy in this version. There's not only is there no pushback, but she's very much into the idea of of that happening.
There's a mild pushback when he tries to sexually assault her, and then she realizes she likes it, and then just goes along with it, and then becomes the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah,
it's funny. Nick was just saying that to me off air before he was saying something along the same lines about they're all gagging for it and no means yes. Something like that he was saying.
Yeah.
I didn't quite follow it. It sounded dodgy to me.
Yeah. So,
but Madame Wang also has the thing about her. So then she leaves and lets them get at it, and then she comes back at an opportune moment and is like, "Oh my God,
right?
What are you doing?" You know, and then blackmails.
She essentially says, "Oh my God, I've caught you at it.
Yes, my reputation.
You're going to get me in loads of trouble. Yeah, exactly. You're going to get me in loads of trouble. So what you better do is come back every day
and do this
and just fuck. Continue.
You didn't quite follow the line. It's funny. She's an interesting character. I don't think she's a badly written character at all, but you do wonder what she's getting out of it other than just shit stirring, just enjoying shit stirring.
Money, I assume. I'm pretty sure the rich guy is
he's paying
few tails on the side.
Yeah, but I think she likes it as well.
I think so. She's a pimp.
Yeah, she likes the fuckery. Yeah, and that's actually using the dialogue in both films.
Oh yeah,
she's described as a pimp.
And she runs a tea house, which I'm pretty sure is one of those.
Yes.
You know,
the iceberg slim tea house.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so this all kind of, there's a few little machinations here and there, and there's a few little kind of steps between the two lovers, and Madame Wong, and there's all kind of a few machinations, but essentially it's all about the sexy times, and it's all about fucking off what's his name? Wu Da. And anyway, Wu Da ends up finding out.
Yeah, because the guy with the Mickey Mouse buns.
So like the plum seller, isn't it?
The plum seller.
Yeah, plum seller grasses them up. He catches them, gets ill. He kind of forgives.
His heart is broken, right?
Oh yes, So open up a big letter, cough blood on it.
Yeah, unlike Golden Lotus, there's no violent, like, because he's stabbed in the next version, but it's not that. He's just gets sick.
No. He just gets ill.
He's just heartbroken by the betrayal, and then in this version as well. I mean, the whole what happens next is she's not really aware of it, whereas she's a very much an active participant in the.
Well, in this version, she's quite nice to him after that happens. She's like, she actually feels guilty. Whereas in the next version we watched, that's not how it plays at all.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And in this case, he's tricked into feeding him medicine that isn't medicine, right?
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of willing disbelief, I think. Like when they go to visit the apothecary, sorry, probably around. She's like, "Oh, I shouldn't be hearing this. I'm going to be stepping outside." Like, I think she kind of has an idea there's something dodgy going on, but
it's kind of plausible deniability, isn't it?
Yes.
Whereas the next film, it's just malice.
Yeah.
But so she ends up accidentally or by the design of her insidious lover ends up poisoning her husband. Her husband dies.
Well, in both versions, in fact, like he's then like he's not dying fast enough, and he's freaking everybody out. Yeah. So Madame Wang and Pan both run in to basically strangle him / smother him.
Yeah. That happens, and then our boy Wu Song returns and raises all sorts of fucking hell.
Yeah, because they very abruptly cremated, right? Because they very abruptly cremate Wu Da to kind of get rid of the evidence. But it turns out that his bones are black, or there's evidence of the poison work, right?
What is it? What is the name? I should have looked this up. What is the name? Because I was trying to write this in my notes. I kept saying cremationist. What's the name? What is the word for someone whose job it is to burn dead bodies?
Not cremationist.
It's not, definitely not cremationist. but what is it?
It's just cremator.
That can't be a job title.
No. Human Torch. It's Human Torch.
The knee boy.
Okay, so our Bernie boy,
yeah,
as you say, has preserved some evidence.
Yeah,
and it's like a bone. it's like a fucking chicken bone. This is black, not white. Yeah. And yeah, you want to get after these two, and then it turns into a fucking massacre.
I love that everyone he asks, that everyone he you know, because he's suspicious, he goes around and he asks, and everyone is like, oh yeah, they killed your brother. She was whoring around. Like, he's just, everyone in town is like, no, those people.
But there's also there's this beautiful spaghetti western moment as well, isn't there? Where he rolls into town, and then the whole fucking town just empties.
Just like, fuck off. Apart from Spunk Boy's men, right, who try and take him down, but he makes short work of all of them, doesn't he?
Yeah, including, as we discussed earlier, sticking a meat cleaver in Clive Helen's face.
I didn't expect because it has the opera trappings. I really didn't expect some fairly reasonably staged kung fu. Like there was some ass kicking, and then a meat cleaver in the face. Slow mo, as I said, someone was undercranked. There was like there's lots going on there that it felt like this director wants to do something outside the box a little bit.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, I think Chang Che probably just got the director in a headlock and just said,
"This is what's happening."
Yeah, we're doing this, motherfucker. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting as well. It comes in a kind of interesting place for Chang Che, because Chang Che had previously directed, but I don't think he'd yet directed at Shaw.
No.
I think I have that right. So
because there's that big gap, isn't there? There's like a 4 or 6 year gap.
Yeah, he directed a couple of things at the end of the 50s, right? For someone.
That's it. Yeah.
And then
and then he literally decided directing's not for him, and then he changed his mind like 4 or 5 years later.
Was there anything in because you got the Chang Che biography, was there anything in there specifically about writing Amorous Lotus Pan?
I must admit I didn't look it up. But I can follow up with that in comments on this YouTube.
That doesn't mean you're going to get up out the chair, go over to the cupboard and it.
No.
I don't know, okay.
No. Because I need to go to bed. So
So he does then he fights his way through these guys, and he does find Seaman Ching and hacks his head off, and then shows up at Pan's house with it. And then she has hang on. No. So it's worse than that, isn't it? So he has a bit of a fight. So there's a bit of a fight in the inn, right? And then he throws semen stains out the window. Right.
You get a nice little shot of him crumpled with blood all over the place under the window. And then he's at the funeral for his brother with the fucking head that he's just hacked off of the man he's already killed.
Yes.
At the altar, at the kind of grave altar, isn't he?
But I do love Pan's excuse at this point is like, well, it's your fault for not fucking me.
To be fair, though, yeah. But to be fair, to bring it back from our usual Chang-Che, let's not talk about women. I did have a little bit of sympathy for Pan in this kind of final kind of at the altar, at the ancestor altar of her husband scene, because she sings this song about, well, I really didn't want to marry him in the first place. When I was married, I was unhappy all the time. I've never been happy in love whatsoever. I didn't ask for this. Why is it my fucking fault?
Plus, as well, she does frame it more. She does actually specifically say, I fell in love with you, as opposed to you didn't give me your schlong. Like, it's a bit more romantic when she...
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
so
he somehow accidentally stabs her to death in this scene as well, right? She falls on his knife, or he
she runs on his knife, doesn't she? So she kills herself because he's got a knife in his hand, and she decides, well, you know, I'm fucked anyway. I love you, but you don't love me, so I'm just going to shove myself on your knife, not in a good way.
Yeah,
that would have been an interesting scene. She impaled herself on his erect penis.
Wrong.
Yeah. And and that's it. And
so she gets. So it ends with she gets shoved in an untended grave or whatever, right? Like an abandoned, like no one's going to visit this and drop flowers off or whatever. And then he goes to prison. The end.
Yeah. And he's just at the grave, isn't he? In one of those big kind of plank kind of stocks things. Yeah.
I like this. I like this film. I appreciated its. I like the fact that it's just right. We're going to tell this story. That's it. 75 minutes in and out. Not boring for a second. Nice bit of action. Oh, cleaver in the face. Go. Didn't expect that. Done. It's like it's not a Shaw classic, but I would say it's a. I just got on with this very well. I found.
I love the fact that you brought that your microphones may not have picked this up, but my wife made an angry noise from another room when you said that.
When I said what?
When you said that this was a good film. That you
she didn't like it?
No.
Oh, well, this is interesting. Then either bring her in, or you can tell us what did she. What? Because I would be surprised someone would like this film. It's quite a good film.
I think it's partly my fault. I think I had misunderstood what we were doing. I thought
you said you were watching John Wick 4 or something.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. I don't know how I got my wires crossed so badly. No, I think I had thought that this was either going to be like a sex comedy or like or just a more like a sexier sort of a film. This was not of the two, and then she didn't end up seeing the one that was more that way, although it was a lot more rapey and Marquis Sade, so maybe that's all right too. But I just think I completely missold her. I missold her on what this was because I misunderstood what this was.
So she thought you were maybe trying to warm things up for the evening and getting prepared for, and then she was disappointed because it turned into a Chang-Che gore fest.
Yes, which she felt was quite misogynist, I think, with these two brothers who were kind of the heroes of the piece, and she felt that
it kind of is.
I'm not saying it's not. But as an example of, I think more than anything else, I just like it as like doing this. Like I would imagine, for example, I have yet. This is something we I don't know if we're going to get to because it would be very time consuming, but. When I get round at some point to watching the long ass water margin TV series, I'm wondering if there is like an episode dedicated to this little side story, or if they didn't go into them. But as a version of like, well, let's do that part. Let's just do a cinematic version of it. I think they've done a good version of, portraying it. And you can put it into like a jigsaw if you wanted. Like you can imagine lots of other films and doing the, you put it all together and you get the whole. This does a stand-up job of doing this bit of the jigsaw. I suspect.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's a bit like Salome, right? So Salome from the Bible, right? I mean, Salome is. I'm sure there are good feminist readings of Salome, and I'm sure you can look at Salome as, you know, someone who doesn't take shit from any man, and but the prevailing view in that literature and any cinematic tropes in particular is Salome is kind of a bitch.
Right. Delilah. I mean, let's face it. The Bible's not exactly a book.
No. But it's, no, I agree. But it's also a literature that has a decent amount of cinematic history.
Plus, as well, you can have, they don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like Delilah is a strong character and a bitch. There's nothing wrong with being a bitch. There's plenty of bitches out there, right? Like, it's not automatically a bad thing. Not all women are awesome. You know, you can have a bitch now and again. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, you can have a bastard, right? Like Seaman Boy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, he does slightly bring it round towards the end, but in general, this is all about fucking over the poor little cake seller.
Yes. He's, as I said, he's quite a sympathetic character in this compared to. He's definitely. I don't feel he is in the next version at all. He's much more, and he's barely in. He's also barely in it. He's much more front and center in this version, right?
Yeah. But so no, I can. There's obviously misogyny inherent in this film, right?
But what I mean is, I think it's not. I don't think it's a problem with the difference between this and the other film, as well, is I think the other film is taking its text and trying to do something with it or read into it or do it a certain way. Whereas I think what I like about this version is it's not interested in reading anything into it. It just wants to do the story, and that's
right. I haven't read the story, so I don't feel qualified to comment as to what degree it does or doesn't. Whether I don't know whether she is unsympathetic.
When we get to it, when we do read the water margin, I think you'll be surprised to find out it probably is very, very close.
Pretty faithful retelling.
Yeah, I think
so. Yeah, there we are. So I put a jumper on, and Clive's changed his t-shirt.
Yes.
Now I don't know. I know. See, so we're all getting a bit chilly, and Clive, because he's in the southern hemisphere, he got a bit warm. Yeah.
And Nick decided to warm up by throwing bleach everywhere.
Yes,
that's it.
So he's suddenly got a bit like
White Man.
Yes, Steve Coogan's teeth in that film Greed.
Well, and all, you know, all anus bleaching is a thing now. It's like a thing that metrosexuals like Nick indulge in.
Very true. I like to sit atop in the rooftop apartment I've got and just spread my legs to the sun. Because I hear that's the best way.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, you want to let the sun shine where the sun shouldn't shine.
Are you not worried about a Mexican an Aztec serpent dragon god coming down and
Qs are a major problem in this part of Canada, so you know you haven't made the right sacrifices.
Yes.
Also, anyway, you don't want the sun penetrating too far in if you've had vegetables, because photosynthesis may occur.
This is true. You could have a triffid whipping around out of that thing.
Well, no, or you just eat root vegetables.
Yes.
See?
I mean, as an Irishman,
although to be fair, they might sprout.
This is probably the best lifestyle show devoted to Shaw Brothers out there.
You know, it's like reading Woman's Own, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It is, yeah. Or watching the E channel. You know, the E channel.
Yes, or own the Oprah Winfrey Network. But jumping back for a second to Q, the Winged Serpent. So I have a really clear memory of the first video shop opening in Wicklow Town, circa 1982-83, and my next door neighbors, who were not the most worldly of people, had gone out, and Mum had rented Q, the Winged Serpent for the kids. We sat age whatever it was, 7, 8 years old, and she, I guess, walked into the room during that scene, and was, I mean, it's wholly Catholic Ireland in the early 80s, and, you know, so it became a bit of a, I think, like, it didn't quite go to the newspapers, but it was one of those things where it was like, she went down and had a stern talking to the staff about
well, you could put
why she had been allowed to rent such pornography.
You could put a positive spin on it, because that is some fucking real holy Catholic vengeance there, right? If you do wrong, it comes down and bites your head up. Because, you know, they're all doing horrible things like, you know, bathing topless and, you know, that sinful behavior.
And of course, no one touches the holy Papa Michael Moriarty. So, yeah. Also, talking about Q the Winged Serpent, and we will get onto the film shortly, we promise. I once, right, this is a double-edged sword, this. I once had the opportunity to buy the original artwork for Q the Winged Serpent.
Really?
Yeah. I ended up buying the original artwork for Master of the Flying Guillotine.
Well, okay.
So,
yeah,
you know, that's, you know, but they were in the same, what you call it?
Lot?
Like, yeah, they were in the same kind of pile of stuff that you could buy for lots of money. Which these days is not lots of money, but back then it stretched my you know, pay packet. But yes, at the same time that I acquired the original artwork for Master of the Flying Guillotine, I could also have got King of the Serpent.
Was this on an online? Was this like an early eBay?
No. It was an antique shop where I used to work. And I walked, and funnily enough, it's the whole reason I own that artwork is I saw through the window the poster for Q the Winged Serpent, and then I flicked through this artwork, which I'd originally taken just to be original posters, but it's actually the hand-drawn artist's artwork, and came across Master of the Flying Guillotine and bought that instead.
I don't remember you working in an antique shop.
No, I didn't work in an antique shop. It was where I used. It was in the town.
This was the
vicinity of. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The Never the Twain years. You know, he had a long-standing feud.
I had a shop next door to him, and we would bicker all day long. I tell you, you could have made a sitcom. I would come over and go, Donaldson.
I was being Donaldson.
Oh, I thought I assumed you'd have wanted to have been a lovely boy.
I would much have preferred to be lovely boy.
I took the Sinden bullet for you.
No, I know, but I was taking the Sinden bullet for you when you didn't realise.
Isn't that beautiful? Indeed, after all that bickering, the end of the day, I think we should call it...
That's friendship.
Yes, we should call it Never the Twats. I think we should.
Yes.
That's a podcast for another night.
Exactly. So, talking about films.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So, why don't we have a chat about Lee Han-xiang's...
Fucking hell. That's uncanny. I just watched it and I was thinking the same thing. How about you, Nick?
By a stroke of incredible coincidence, I too have just seen that film.
That's amazing.
I've actually taken a full page of typed notes about it for some reason. I might have a chance to talk about it.
Why are you typing your notes?
Normally I don't. I did these in a plane and I didn't have a pen. I was watching on my computer, so I just stopped it and went over to a Word. But I'm not compiling them for the book of the podcast.
Proper notes look like that.
Yes, normally
that's what proper notes look like.
I have a scroll over here.
Well, that is linear B, by the way.
Right.
So,
okay.
You know. And I did have to transcribe it from Clay.
He is my favourite rapper, I have to say.
Linear B.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I prefer cuneiform. But anyway, you know, it's an East Coast West Coast thing, isn't it?
It is.
So Golden Lotus, then.
Yes, Nick. Carry on.
Yeah.
So this is a remake, except that it's not, right? We talked.
I think we'd established this before, right?
It's
It's Golden Lotus as opposed to Amorous Lotus Pan.
Right. Okay. Which is a different kettle of tits entirely.
Yeah. Well,
and there's tits in this.
There are. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And little feet.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Tiny feet.
Which is something I've never, not to kink shame, of course, everyone to their own thing, but personally, it's one of those things I can't quite get my head round
Clive likes a woman of Sasquatch type proportions, large, hairy feet that can kind of have an opposing grip.
Well, that's one way. Yes, that's the other side of the spectrum.
I think there is a middle ground somewhere.
Yes,
but
right. Normal size feet.
Who knows where that is?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, what happens, and who's in and who made Golden Lotus from 1974?
Well, as you mentioned, it's our old friend Li Hanxiang again of Enchanting Shadow, Yang Kuai Fai, Leviathan, Adulteress, etc.
Just everything.
Yeah, we've become
all the good Shaw Brothers films.
Quite fans of this fellow, haven't we?
Yeah, and this is, and obviously we've jumped, so we've leapt from the mid-60s right into the almost mid-70s. Right? So change of style and mores are to be expected. But this is like a fucking handbrake turn on Li Hanxiang, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden it's a bit saucy.
I shouldn't think what a good example, what a good analogy would be for, like, let's say a Hollywood director who was making things, a bit more, not because Adulteress, for example, was pretty edgy, in its way. But yes, was less out and out sleazy, and then suddenly do something sleazy. And I'm sure there are examples. I'm trying to think of a good one of someone just suddenly going sleazy in the 70s.
Yeah, I can't think of one.
No, I can see the cogs are whirring, but something will come up.
Yeah,
I'm sure there are plenty of good examples of that happening.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, no, actually, I was gonna argue the point. Actually, maybe this film isn't sleazy. Of course, it's fucking sleazy. It is. It is definitely sleazy. This film.
Yes.
Yeah.
It almost seems like it's taking notes from what's going on in Japan.
For sure.
It is. When it gets quite near the end, when we suddenly get into ropes territory, I'm like, this looks very much like what Nikatsu would have been doing, And how much would that stuff have been getting over to?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is a question I would have.
I'm wondering about that myself. If I think some sporadic play, maybe some of it would have had.
Okay. Or was it more maybe Chinese nationals visiting Japan and going to cinemas and being like, oh my fucking God, this is madness, and taking that back with them?
I think that's probably more the case, actually, rather than, I don't know, but, I'm guessing. But, you think about the stars and a lot of the directors in the late 60s, early 70s, they are always in Japan, looking at what the other side's doing. Well, not the other side, but, what people are doing in other places. So that'd be my sort of conjecture.
It's fascinating. We've spoken about this before on different, but it isn't fascinating to me. You have your kind of standardized idea of the flow of cinematic history and how things, but then you go to different parts of the world and there's a slightly alternative take on that, right? And you find out that during the the Cold War era and stuff like that, you had certain films that, like Indian films that never played anywhere else, were huge hits in like the Soviet Union and stuff like that. It's fascinating to think about these alternative kind of histories.
Yeah.
And in terms of, I don't know, I haven't seen much in the way of posters and stuff for Nikatsu stuff that would have played, but I think certain distributors might have taken a chance on some. I don't think they, I don't think the default was to bring everything over, because a lot of things that wouldn't have worked as well. I think some of the more out there or maybe exotic things that because the thing is, Nikatsu was doing things like like kind of melodramas set in apartment blocks and things that just happen to have sex every time. You know, the stuff that didn't necessarily, very talky things that weren't going to travel that well, even though tits travel extremely well first class. But, you know, there were things that, you know, things that were probably a bit more like half a thriller, half a sex film, or they were a bit more rapey, or things like those things probably traveled a bit. But I don't know about the censorship then. See, I don't think Hong Kong necessarily would have been ready for some of the some of the Japanese.
But this is the furthest out there I've seen so far for this time period. This is it's like a Shaw Brothers at not a point where they're like struggling or that they have a need to do this because they're like falling on hard times.
Oh no, I mean this is a thing for Shaw Brothers in the early 70s.
Yeah.
There's a lot of titillation and
yeah,
there's a lot of tits flying around the Shaw studio.
But to Nick's point, yeah, I don't know how much further than this they went. You see what I mean? This is probably towards the edge.
It's the top end of.
I'm guessing. Who knows what we might stumble across?
We get to category 3, right? Which is obviously not Shaw, but that's, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not Shaw, and plus. And I think there might be some, I'm sure we'll stumble across some things that are more conceptually outrageous, but just in terms of what you see on screen. Yeah, they never went too far. I'm guessing this is probably the outer edge of as graphic as they got.
Yeah.
So I mean,
what was the one when we watched Human Skin Lanterns, right? And that's like early 80s and of course was, you know, cut, but even then it's not, I mean, it's not out again, that's more conceptually outrageous than it is extremely graphic, right?
Peter Yang, I don't know him at all, so I other than, well, I know him now and I'm very impressed.
Well, he was in The Adulteress, wasn't he? So
who did he play in The Adulteress? Because that's
he's the same dude from The Adulteress, I believe.
Yeah, and he plays Spunky Boy here, right?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. He just seems young to me. He must have been. He just aged very well to me.
Yeah, well, it's 8 years, isn't it? So it's like.
Okay, it's not that big a jump, yeah.
No, it's not 8 years. 10 years.
Okay, now he looks good. Man looks good.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of getting into. I'm kind of getting into him because he is like the uber sleaze, the uber Machiavellian prince of Shaw Brothers now.
And you know he did his own stunts in this film. You know that when it came time to have his toes sucked on his deathbed, he was like, "I'll take that. Yeah, I'll take that bullet."
Yeah. Although I do kind of wish we had the toes the other way around on the little feet.
Right.
Because although that would have been very disturbing to watch.
Yep.
Because they would have to put like a toddler's foot in there.
Yeah. The thing is that the feet are so small. I'm wondering what's the difference between that and watching like a Long Gene Silver film at the end of the day, right? Because it's going to be with some toes on the end, which is I don't like
something
of that.
That reminds me of like a deer being made to walk on its, hind.
I think actually we're probably getting ahead of ourselves a little bit too much because no one watching
knows why we're talking about this.
No, but I was going to say
we're talking about feet.
If you were sucking on like a hoof, though, it'd be like that scene in Last House on Dead End Street.
I'm glad we've got there. That's it. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So. Let's catch everyone up on the foot stuff, right?
Yes, let's do that.
Jill, gather around.
Yeah, by catching everyone up on the film. So one of the major differences between this one and the one we've just discussed is this one kind of goes straight into the salacious, sexy stuff. So there's hardly a mention of. I've forgotten the character's name now, but the lion
Wu Song, the younger brother. Yes, he's not hardly at all. She doesn't seduce him, and he doesn't show up later in the story when you think he might.
You never see Wu Song in this film.
No. So this basically starts with Peter Yang Kwan getting hit on the shoulder with the bamboo pole, which happens about a third of the way into the previous film. And from there on in, it's pretty much all sexy times and murdering husbands. That's it. That's the whole film.
I suppose I feel as if we kind of want to talk about specific things. So I think maybe just as a catch-all then, and then we can discuss things. I suppose what's worth mentioning is like you said, it jumps straight into that, and also it extends beyond. So there's no Wu Song character taking vengeance.
No.
That doesn't happen. Instead, you get basically the continuing adventures of Spunky Boy and his harem, basically. Right?
Of concubines.
The conquests. And so it's just an extension of more adventures of Peter Yang Kwan and the other women that he gets involved. So you've got Amorous Lotus Pan, but you've got
multiple
of other characters as well.
Yeah.
Right?
So in essence, Pac One from the previous film. Yes, it's Pac One from the previous film, who's the sleazy
Seaman King
adulterer. Has been replaced by Robin Asquith.
Yeah, this is definitely Confessions.
Right? So this is now adventures, surely.
But a less cheerful, kind of happy-go-lucky Robin Asquith, right? And there's no speeded up scenes, unfortunately.
No, I would have liked that,
No speeded up hoof sucking to saxophone noises, and
he didn't blow any bubbles out of his arse.
So this is kind of all about you. I mean, it's exactly the same plot, really, isn't it? With the tea house woman
that I think are different, though, right? Like particularly at how it's set up at the beginning. Lotus is like the way she's engineered into being in the room with them, and the way the door is literally locked, and it's like this is going to happen. That seemed, she was more a victim than she felt more. She colluded more in the previous version with that all going down. In this version, but then once that decision's made, everything that follows is quite different. She is much more active in making the decision to have her husband poisoned. She knowingly gives him the poison, smothers it with the help of Madame Wang, and then her nursing leaves something to be desired. Like she's the world's worst wife slash.
Well, also worth mentioning, as far as I have read thus far, because it's insanely long and it's going to take me forever, but as far as I've read thus far, it is a fairly close version of the Jinping Mei novel as well.
Yeah, it sounds, because the thing is, I think that if you were just making a film and not adapting anything, then you would have made it a lot less confusing, because there's a lot of kind of wall hopping in this, isn't there? So our Lothario is has something. I think it's either 4 or 5 mistresses, and each of them are given a decent amount of time within the film, and there's various ways. There's a brothel, and he leaps over to his next door neighbor, and there's a variety. And actually, I have to say, a confusing variety. For me, anyway.
It's almost like an anthology. It's almost like an anthology,
and that's frankly, that's why I compared it, jokingly, but almost not jokingly, to the Confessions of the
Independent. It's worth mentioning that a lot of the contemporary erotic films that Shaw were making around this time were anthologies as well, right? They were tales of, and they would. So this is kind of like that. It's just it's had the what's that called when you're in an office and you're
filing?
The compartment. They've had the things just removed, if you see what I mean. So it's like an anthology, but they've removed the walls.
Oh, yes, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Partitions have been removed.
Partitions. Gotcha. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Phew!
I'm glad I got to the end.
Oh, but we should say also at the beginning too. So, you know, Jackie Chan I mean, how early is this in his career? And
very early.
Given his squeaky clean reputation or public image later on, it's quite weird to see him.
Well, no, he's around. He's in a lot of films. He's in films from late 60s, you know, as a kind of teenager, and he's still a teenager here.
He's 19 years old here.
Yeah. Wow. But you know, he's an extra in Enter the Dragon and various different bits and bobs. But this has to be a fairly early speaking role for him, I think.
Well, I was interested as well because I wanted to specifically. So actually, so the same year he stars in Eagle Shadow Fist, which is a film I've not seen actually, and he would have already starred in one non-shot. He would have been in Cub Tiger of Kwantung, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Master with Cracked Fingers.
Yeah.
So he's kind of on his way, but yeah, he's kind of, and he's in Policewoman the same year as this, and he's done choreography for some things as well. But this seems to be his biggest on-screen appearance for sure, right? Because you don't really think of him as a
Shaw. Oh yeah, he's not Shaw after this, really.
So and then I think it's not until maybe 1976 with New Fist of Fury for Lo Wei that he's really put into apart from Cub Tiger of Kwantung. That's kind of the early outlier that had to be re-released because it didn't really work the first time, and there's like multiple different. If you want to know about Cub Tiger from Kwantung, Podcast on Fire did a very good in-depth.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't catch that.
All the different versions.
I'll listen to that. Yeah,
because I've only ever seen the Master with Cracked Fingers version, but the other.
No, I've seen Tiger Cub from Kwantung, or at least a DVD that says Tiger Cub from Kwantung.
Right.
But yeah, what version I watched, I don't know when it was.
No, it's good. It's a good podcast. It's one of the more interesting ones that they put out recently. I really enjoyed that one. But anyway, that's where Jackie Chan was at this. Point.
Yeah, but it's a reasonably important role for him as well, isn't it? It is, It's that he's kind of and he fulfills that, and that the same character appears in the previous film as well.
Even got the same little buns on his.
Exactly, yeah.
It's funny though, seeing him.
Lee Kwan, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, seeing him in this though, if you didn't know, you would have no clue that he would go on to be who he was.
No, but his whole like all of his jibs and stuff are there, which is why that's why I recognize it, because initially I didn't recognize him as being Jackie Chan until a certain point where he gets into really acting.
Well, what people don't realize, what people forget in this culture, and when we're talking about Hong Kong cinema particularly, is what people forget is Jackie Chan is quite an ugly man.
Yes, yeah.
Right, he says this himself quite often.
Yeah. But people forget that. So you can never miss Jackie Chan when you see him on screen.
I think what it is here is he's got the ugly going on, but he hasn't learned. Well, he doesn't need to for this character because it is a kind of ugly character, right? But he hasn't learned to kind of polish the turd with charm.
Right, the cute.
Yeah.
In later films, he's kind of charmingly.
Yeah, he's all right in it.
Kind of character. Yeah, it's fine. But you know what I mean? You would never. No, I don't think anyone would have pointed out and gone, that guy.
No.
He's going to be the future
Hollywood
of Hong Kong cinema.
Yeah. And while we're talking about early appearances, we've got a few more favourites in here as well, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
So
sorry, just to complete that, I just realised how mad the complete thought is as well. If you take it further, that fucking big-nosed ugly dude, right? And that extremely corpulent guy in a Ramones haircut, they're going to be the future of Hong Kong cinema. That you would not have guessed, I think.
No, true. Yeah. Yeah, good point.
And poor Jackie does get the shit stabbed out of him in this version too. He comes to a sticky end much faster than his
by Chan Shen as well, of all people. Gives him a good few stabs.
Yeah. Yeah, and Wong Yu is in this as well.
Yeah.
Not Wang Yu, Wong Yu.
Okay, Wong Yu.
Yeah.
Also,
so there's some...
so we should mention, do we think, because I think this would have been less of a surprise for you, Nick, because I'm not sure you've necessarily seen as many of her films, but for me and Darren, we know Hu Chin, who plays Lotus Pan. We know her more as Wu Gam, and she's in some kung fu films.
Okay.
So it's very surprising for us to see her in this role, but I'm guessing that's a body double, isn't it? I don't think that Wu Gam's
no.
On display.
I would put, I mean, Chen Ping obviously is the tits of Shaw Brothers, so there's no need to question, you know, the royal tits of Shaw Brothers. But yeah, Hu Chin, I think, is most likely a body double.
And then Tanni is a difficult one, because I feel as if Tanni has got them out before in the past, but then again, I'm not sure that I could just be remembering body doubles.
I'm the same as you. Yeah. And also you remember Tanni because her name's Tanni.
Yes.
You know, that's another thing, isn't it? Sometimes you might misremember someone as Tanni because it was 1973.
Well, plus as well. Yeah. Well, actually, the who's the one? What's her name? Is it Liu Chi? Who's one?
The prostitute one.
The last one who gets tied up and stuff. Doesn't she seem very Tanni-like?
Yes, she does. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is that I must admit, you know, I have a good brain for faces, you know, including Asian faces, and I have to admit, because of the sort of profusion of courtesans on this, I was getting confused between who was who, which actress was who, which character was which, and because it was just this kind of... Yeah, exactly, because it was just this kind of relentless kind of procession of...
Yeah. But I think Liu Chi is definitely a Tanni lookalike, and might even have been cast for that reason, because he's got a type, right? He's got a type.
Yeah.
And because I was looking at photos on the Hong Kong movie database in other things as well, and she definitely looks a lot.
Yeah, she does look like Tanni. Yeah.
And just to get back to Tanni as well, I think the other reason that we're not sure if we've seen her in the Nuddy or not is because she was in a whole bunch of very sleazy. You kind of think of Tanni because she's in like the black magic films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you do think of Tanni as, I don't know what a good example would be, but she's like, an actress who wasn't afraid to be in those kind of films. So if Tanni's in something, you're thinking, oh, this might be
she's like
Barbara Crampton.
But I was thinking late 80s Linda Blair.
Oh yeah.
You never know if she's decided to pop them out.
Yep.
Right.
Just, you know. Anyway. So this is, I mean, I can't think of anything else to describe this as Lee Han Xiang does a British sex comedy from the early 70s.
Yes. Well, although I don't
with some extra murder.
I was going to say, I don't know that Robin Ask was ever quite so sinister. There's a scene where he leans in. There was the girl, and I think it's the one where she's frigging herself off against a bed or like a pole outside of his bedroom, and he comes out and he leans over and he just licks her up the bottom of the chin and up across her lips. And I was like, oh my, like just the total wanton lack of consideration.
Yeah, that
Jesus wept.
Please, someone tell me that wasn't sexy in the 70s.
I don't know, but I felt like Peter Yang didn't have a problem with doing it. I feel like he was quite happy.
As long as she didn't have a runny nose.
Well, that's how SARS and other things get spread, I guess.
Sometimes you just like to taste the salt.
Right. Now I think we've gone far enough now, lads, without we've talked about this bloody Jackie Chan fella. We're missing the most important guest appearance in the Golden.
Oh, are we talking about the impotent
Dean? Yes. Now we're talking. He's not in it long. He's not in it much.
No.
But, you know, he's always good value for money, as Dean Check.
And even in 1974, he's still a spindly little twat.
Well, see, my note just says, just poor winsome ectomorph. That seems to kind of...
I barely know 3 of those words.
Anyway, yes.
What's an ectomorph?
Ectomorph. So there's endomorphic, which is on the bigger side, and ectomorphic is somebody whose body is considerably under the average.
Yeah.
And winsome is winsome. So.
Oh yeah. But yeah, as we've said before, he is the Charles Hawtrey of Kung Fu cinema.
Yeah. Yeah, he comes under some serious, scolding for his lack of abilities in the bedroom. Yeah, it's quite sad to see.
Yeah. I feel as if I've seen him doing the impotent thing in another film as well, but I can't remember which one. I think it might have been one we watched for Khafuz.
I think it was one of the Karl Maka.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I kind of vaguely remember him in bed with someone and then, like...
Yeah. There's some good murders in this. I quite like. There's 2 murders in this, isn't there? So there's the poor old what's he called? Wuda. Yeah, Wuda, who is also grotesque in this, but
he's not as nearly as lovable as he was in the Chang-Chia version.
No. But there's some good imagery. So Li Hanxiang, although he's doing sleaze here, he's still not forgotten his craft, really, is he? Because you've got this whole thing with the poisoning and the smothering, but in the Li Hanxiang version, there's blood for some unknown reason. The blood just drips out to the bottom of the bed, doesn't it? And then this is echoed at the end, where
Chekhov's Viagra, which you always know if they introduce a bottle of Viagra early in a film that could have fatal overdose connotations. That a good scriptwriter makes sure to bring that back in the last act.
Well, especially when the pharmacist tells you, you mustn't take more than 2 tablets. And by the way, here are 500.
Yes. It's like that. It's like that scene in The Young Ones where Vivian makes something puts people into homicidal acts. Like puts it in a Coke can and puts it. I really hope no one drinks that.
Yes. Yeah, but that's good at the end with that. Although I have to say, and this is largely due to us having watched the
Amorous Lotus Pan?
What? Sorry?
Amorous Lotus Pan?
No. Oh my God, why am I blanking on this?
Give us some tips. Come on, Lionel.
The exploding Chinese talk change.
Oh yes, I know. My mind went there as well.
Yeah, so because I hadn't seen this before, and I was thinking, aphrodisiac, overdose. Are we going to get a bloody cock explosion?
Yes.
We did not get a bloody cock explosion, but nonetheless, I found it quite effective. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I did I found it a slightly less satisfying end to this than, the last one was a different animal.
Yeah, right.
It kind of just like, you've taken too much cock medicine, you're dead.
Just on an subjective level, I did appreciate that it did go full sleaze and it got into, like we said, it went into the SM stuff and all that. I was just pleased to see that. However, if I was going to remove the subjective hat and put on the objective critics hat, this is definitely too fucking long for a start. It's 116 minutes. This does to be. I feel like this, if you're going to do the whole book, but you need a mini series. But on the other hand, it's a little bit repetitive, isn't it? Because after a certain point, there's so much kind of lurid backstabbing and shrill cat fighting and just everyone you don't really care after a while. They're all just in this pool of
there's not really anyone that we're rooting for
Not at all. Not at all. I mean,
yeah,
even
that's a good point.
There's a certain satisfaction when Wu-Gam kind of gets her revenge, but no, but she's so deranged at that point. It doesn't feel like she's.
It's not even.
Again, she's doing it more out
revenge at that point, though, is it?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like she's not actually doing it to rid the world of this pest. It's more that she's feeling scorned, isn't it? More than anything.
Yeah.
So the motivation isn't exactly. But again, that's not necessarily a problem. If it was, I don't know, 30 minutes shorter, and it was a bit more compact, kind of short, sharp punch to the guts, I think it would have worked a bit better. It's not Li Hanshang at the height of his powers, I don't think, is it? I think it's probably a lesser Li Hanshang. I mean, I know we jumped, so we've got all these things in the middle to see, so it might have been a gradual decline, or it might be a blip, or I don't know. But I'm guessing it's maybe not the worst. He might have made, he might have made like a fucking Ishtar kind of film or something like that.
Well, we saw the Mad Monk, didn't we? So we saw that, and that's after this.
Yeah, and that was, I can't even remember.
77, something like that.
It was, but I can't remember. Yeah. But we liked the Mad Monk, didn't we?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, the goiter.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering if this is in the, I don't know if this is like a lesser Li Hanshang thing, or if it's a middling one, and if there's like some real
Yeah, but the thing is that, looking at his filmography, there are a lot of these in the 70s. Right? There are a lot of sexy Li Hanxiang films in the early to mid, even to late 70s. And not always for Shaw Brothers either. So that is definitely a groove he's carved himself out. But this is the first one we've seen. So, stay tuned, I guess, isn't it?
Also, music by Frankie Chan.
Well, always by Frankie Chan.
Yeah, possibly one of the sex scenes is scored with a piece of music that sounds like Juice Harp and something else. I think it's a piece from the My Name Is Nobody soundtrack by Ennio Morricone.
Are you accusing Frankie Chan of merely stepping over to his record cupboard and taking out some random...
No, I'm sure that he had it meticulously recreated,
Frankie Chan is a composer.
Yes.
He's like Danny Elfman or whatever that Goldsmith fella is.
Yes, very.
He doesn't just own a record collection.
No. He twirls his stick and everything like that. to James Bond and disco hits and spaghetti western soundtracks.
I'd go and see tonight DJ Frankie Chan spinning to
Yes.
Yeah. And also, how many other composers do we know that used to be stuntmen?
Yeah, and also fucking directed some pretty kick-ass action films as well.
Outlaw Brothers is good.
Outlaw Brothers, fuck! I remember because that was one of those few back in the day. I remember Outlaw Brothers, for whatever reason, was one of the few Hong Kong action films that was available on video everywhere.
Yeah, but it was modern. It was one of the few modern day action, wasn't it?
And it was a budget title. And I remember buying it of all. Do you remember I think I'm remembering this right. Do you remember this is the sixth form college me and Darren both went to. Do you remember in Graig, just down the road towards the coast, there was a small newsagent where we'd buy cigarettes?
Yeah.
I bought Outlaw Brothers there for like.
Or maybe I've got your copy of Outlaw Brothers. I always thought I bought that. I think I've still got that.
Yeah, because it was like, they had a shelf of 3 films or something.
Yeah.
Outlaw Brothers for $5, and I just picked it up with my cigarettes one day, and it turned out to be fucking some amazing action in that. I need to see that again. I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since either.
Someone stole my copy.
Apparently so, yeah. I wonder who that could have been. Yeah, so there's a nice scene. So I've not got much more to say about this, apart from
Burmese vaginal bell.
Oh yes, but the plum scene as well.
And then those are standouts for sure.
It's so back in the day when it was summer festival in Llangadog, where Clive comes from. You know what
where I crawled out of.
That's it. There used to be a summer festival, and they used to have marquees, and they used to have games like in the Wicker Man. And one of the games was throwing the egg.
Yes, it was. How far you could throw the egg without it cracking. Yeah,
that's it. And this one is throwing the plum.
Yes. You know, you are lucky, because I remember Darren came to visit this Llangadog festival after being away in London for a few years, and he thought it was a bit fancy. So when he came back and he saw the throwing the egg competition, I remember him laughing about it a little bit too much. And I would just like to say, you're lucky you didn't end up being burnt in an effigy at the end of the night.
Well, I was quite the nihilist back then, and I was hoping for that. So, you know, I wonder who the real winners are. Yeah.
I'd say another one of my favorite scenes in this is just a brief, it's maybe a few seconds of celluloid, but there's a scene where he wakes up and one of the girls, it might be Pinger, is leaning over in a diaphanous gown and the sun is rising between her legs, illuminating her thigh gap in this sun-drenched morning scene, and it's just wow.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's a lovely looking film, isn't it?
Yeah, it does look good.
It's a beautiful. It's you know, he's preserved that grandeur from the 60s, isn't it? You know, whenever he's doing anything, it still looks classy. Right. But this is not a very classy film.
Marquis de Sade in China territory.
I get a kick out of that, and we mentioned this with the Nikatsu stuff, for instance, when they do their period films. And it's something I get a kick out of similar here is I really do like when you have this handsome production and everything's just, you know, impeccable. But yeah, they tell a really fucking sleazy story. So everything's just got this like sticky layer over it or something. I like that. That's a vibe that I can groove on. You know?
Yeah. Although, honestly, if well, at any point actually, if I didn't have to watch it for the podcast, I do wonder I wouldn't have just switched it off about an hour in.
Yeah, I mean it's not great. It's not bad. It's not great.
It's all right. No, I'm not saying it's shit.
No. It's nicely sleazy, but no, it's nowhere near any of the. It doesn't go some of the places that the period Nikatsu Roman pornos went to. For example, it doesn't quite go. It doesn't quite have the conviction to go full on. But I don't think they would have been allowed to necessarily.
No. Yeah, but the thing is with Lee Han-xiang as well, is he's usually saying something, right? So he's usually adapting something.
Hang on. Surely he's saying live by the pork sword and die by the pork sword.
He's got a point there.
I think we've got more to say, but I wish we could have ended it there.
Sorry.
You should have saved that for the end.
But no, there is you know, he does increasingly get more and more dissolute, and there's a feeling like we haven't talked, but like he has a child at one point with one of his later concubines, Pinger, who he really treats like a bomb bearer. He's the one who he basically extorts all of the money that, like, you know, he kind of breaks her and her husband up. Her husband dies. He gets all the money, and then she kind of gets jilted to the side. She ends up married to Dean Sheck. He can't satisfy her. She comes back to him. He marries her. She tries to hang herself on the wedding night because he's so dismissive and cruel. Then he comes in with a whip, and she's also been coughing up blood at this point. She's got TB or something like that. He comes in with a whip when she hasn't died from hanging herself to beat the shit out of her. And then, of course, because it's one of these kind of films, she's like...
So why wasn't that better?
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying that it's great cinema, but...
And I'm not saying it's shit either.
No.
But I'm just saying that could have been better.
Yeah, sure. Let's just say I only had a semi on.
Exactly. So then then she has this child, and then there's this whole part where she has this vision of one of her dead husbands. Right, and then the baby dies, and then this
get in.
Yes, it's very Shakespearean, and then yeah, and so it kind of, the film definitely does end with he does get his comeuppance, but it's after getting his own way for a long time.
Yeah, you have to again, it's interesting. We'll see more than when we get there, but it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure around this same time there were other of these erotic anthologies that were a little bit, will let the viewer off the hook a little bit more and just let them sit there in their dirty Macs and they didn't have to pay the price with scenes of dead children and stuff.
Yeah, they didn't have to pay the dead baby tax.
No, basically. Exactly. And they went along to see this and they were like, oh, I didn't enjoy this as much as last night's film, Yeah. The real kind of Robin Asquith one. Yeah. But no, I wouldn't have turned it off. I did find it kind of more interesting than you did, maybe, but it's definitely too long. It's way too long. But no, I'm glad we watched it for this. And Amorous Lotus Pan, it's interesting. It was accidentally, it was a good way to compare both Amorous Lotus Pan and Golden Lotus as kind of pieces of literature, but also as different strands of coming from the same kind of, and I think they're probably quite good representations of each version. Although for me, Amorous Lotus Pan was a much better film.
Absolutely, yeah,
and very trim at like 75 minutes or whatever it was compared to this, which is definitely bloated.
But also, I wanna get back to the feet.
Yeah.
Right, because no, genuinely, without any sort of tongue in cheek, but that's in there for a reason.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there's something like 400 years of Chinese history where, excuse me, where women bound their feet, and that was a sign of women. That was a status symbol that took, because they couldn't work in the fields. Yeah. And that was a sign of attractiveness, nobility, etc. And yet it doesn't really appear in any of the films we've seen thus far on this podcast. Maybe it's appeared elsewhere, I don't know. But why is Li Hanxiang making such a big deal about the little feet? Right? So is that a commentary? Is that a social commentary? Was there something going on in the 70s around foot binding? Was there some legislation or something? I don't imagine there was. I imagine that would have been a lot earlier.
I think it comes up in the Jinping Mei novel. So it could be just a matter of, with this massive thing, there's certain things that he kind of has to touch on for it to be a Golden Lotus adaptation. So it could just be, hang on, we haven't done any feet stuff. Let's, mention the feet. So it could just be that as well, that it's an important part of the Golden Lotus story.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, but I looked into, as promised, I actually looked into foot binding for this podcast. And I'm not gonna...
How did it go? How are your feet feeling?
They're a little bit sore.
Okay.
Little bit broken.
I was surprised to see the pictures of you as a ballerina, Anna. I was
yeah, and being a ballerina is even harder when your toes are broken and then shoved into your whatever that bit your foot
to make an attractive hoof.
Yes, exactly. But it was interestingly, and this is where the Lotus comes in, is apparently the origin of the practice of foot binding is around a dainty little dance that a dancer concubine, I don't quite remember,
which Darren is going to perform for us right now. Darren, don't, you'll fall and break something. I know you. Sit down.
I was a bit close to the camera, but it was stunning.
That was a bit more hogmanay than, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Fair play, you gave it a go.
I you know, what can I do? But no, apparently the origin of foot binding is there was some emperor who had some dancer or concubine perform a dance around this, like I think like a mosaic of a lotus.
Okay.
And she had very dainty movements and feet. And the whole practice of foot binding comes out of this particular emperor's love of this this dancer's naturally small
one
feet.
guy's fetish.
Yeah.
To an entire like
yeah,
years
but they weren't
national...
even but they weren't even tiny feet. They were like normal feet, but were quite small. And then this turned into, for like 400 years, the practice of breaking bones. And
was it a full-grown woman, or would it have been a child?
No, I think it was a full-grown woman. I think she was a concubine type person. Yeah.
Because there's
so
also
that's
that
an interesting thing.
There's that side to it as well, that there's the infantilizing part.
Well, and right? Yeah, and that's what I was getting from this film. Actually, was that the feet were so small that they were like infants' feet.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure drinking out of them was especially creepy.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that reads the same way to an Eastern audience,
right?
Or specifically Chinese audience. I think that's may have a different reading, just simply because that's 400 years worth of references. You know,
niche, isn't it? Pedo feet.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but but genuinely, I don't actually think that's where Li Hanxiang's coming from. I don't think that's designed to infantilize or make any of those comparisons.
Right.
But I still question what the purpose of putting that in there for. Is there some sort of social commentary going on? Is there some sort of...
Okay, so it's interesting. We'll talk about this actually again, because I've just started to watch the reincarnation of Golden Lotus, right, which is set during the during the Cultural Revolution, and she has these flashbacks to her previous life, and they focus quite a bit on the foot binding and the tiny shoes and the guys ripping out of them.
Great.
So, and also, like I said, the more I read, I will confirm if it comes up more in the book as well, which I suspect it does. It's a very intrinsic part of the story.
Yeah. No, I'm just but let's park that then.
Because it's intercut with people like putting on their tight tap shoes, or whatever that looks like, ballet shoes, and doing the famous girls with the guns ballet stuff from that era. And they making these weird parallels. Anyway.
Okay. Well, that's probably a good point for us to say.
It's interesting you mentioned the girls with guns ballerina thing as well, because that also spins off. That's a whole other thing. The girls with dainty women with firearms thing is definitely, on the one hand, just a kind of cool image, a bit of fun, but certainly at a certain point born of some sort of
fetish.
Yeah, I think. I don't think it's unfair to say.
Well, it's a good thing that Rocco Siffredi wasn't the emperor at any point of China then. History would be very different.
Right.
His history would be very different if Rocco Siffredi was the king of anywhere.
There'd be a lot more. Yeah, there'd be a lot more tales of people forced to use colostomy bags early in life.
Yeah,
that kind of
the prolapse years.
Yeah.
But I do feel he would have been a magnanimous and gentle,
a wise leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, as long as he could, tap the ring.
I will say, this has my favorite line of this whole.
That's called the ring tax.
Yes, yeah. There's a line quite early in the film when she's first murdered her husband, and then she immediately marries Peter Yang's character, and she's being paraded through the streets in like one of those palanquin chairs, right? And inside the sedan sits the comfy strumpet, is what the tells us. It's a great line. And it immediately made me think I needed to keep going. So I've got this. Inside the sedan sits the comfy strumpet, quite content to blow Peter Yang's trumpet. When Pete sees them little feet, he just got to hump it. Woo-song don't like it, he'll just have to lump it.
Not
that Woo-song ever showed up.
I think you should wrap that instead
of just reading it. Could you see the whiteness?
Come on, like your hero Linear B. Do it.
Come on, Nick. Come on.
Oh,
we want more from you.
Yes.
You bastard.
Well, I would say that was really good. Come on now. Get to the flow. No, that was very, very good. The only thing it was missing was the word crumpet.
Oh, you're completely right. Thank you. Thanks for the notes. I'll add this. Next time you see this in print.
Yes, next time you'll come
back. Bit of crumpet will be in there somewhere.
Yes. Don't do blackface or anything like that. That would be weird and inappropriate. But yeah.
But you are allowed to have an Uzi.
Okay. All right.
Right.
I've seen too much brass eye. Sorry.
Right. I think that's about it. Is it?
That'll do.
Yeah. See you then.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care.